Juan Soto just kicked off the 2019 World Series with a home run, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base, easily making him an early candidate for World Series MVP. But do you think that in 15 years he'll be remembered as one of the greatest World Series performers of all time? I don't know. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another Major League Baseball video, playoff edition. Today, what we're going to be doing is we will be dissecting the 10 greatest World Series performances of all time. There are going to be some honorable mentions, so make sure you guys watch all the way until the end because we will talk about them. If you guys are going to any World Series games, NFL games, NBA games, or even NHL, if you guys use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek, you can save $20 off your tickets. I know that it can get really expensive, so you might as well save some money at the same time. And without further ado, let's get into it. The 10 greatest World Series performances in Major League Baseball history. Now, one thing I do want to note is all of these rankings will be from my own opinion. So it doesn't matter if I think the number 1 guy is your number 4 guy. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. Coming in at the number 10 spot, we have the 1928 World Series, and you can't really pick one player from this. So I'm going to go ahead and give a co-MVP here to Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. In this series, the Sultan of SWAT went 10 for 16 with 3 doubles and 9 runs scored. He also went yard 3 times in game number 4. Lou Gehrig, on the other hand, reached base 12 times in 17 plate appearances. He also clobbed 4 home runs and drove in 9 RBIs. Can't really pick the one player who was better than the other, but in 1928, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig, they were special. This one might surprise you guys because I do think that Barry Bonds had an amazing 2002 performance, but his team did not win, so that's why he is going to be number 9 on today's list. But in his only World Series appearance, Barry Bonds reached base 21 times in 30 plate appearances and was walked 13 times, which is a record in the World Series. He was also walked 7 times intentionally, and when he wasn't being walked, he was busy hitting 4 home runs in the plate appearances that the Angels decided to actually pitch to him. So of course, Barry Bonds, one of the best performances, but again, all of the other guys on this list, they did win the World Series, and that's why they're going to be ahead of him. But Barry Bonds, I tip my cap. Even Tim Salmon said that was one of the furthest home runs he's ever seen hit.
Ripped into right field. It's a 1-run game as Bonds gets his second of the series.
Coming in at the number 8 spot, who can forget what happened in the 2011 World Series? If you guys forgot who the 2 teams were, we have the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Texas Rangers, so that instantly should make you think St. Louis Cardinals and David Freese. This guy had some of the biggest hits in Major League Baseball postseason history. He had a home run and 7 RBIs. He easily won the NLCS MVP a few weeks prior and then backs it up with the World Series MVP. Not the most amount of home runs, so that's why he's only going to be 8th, but still, they're not winning that series without David Freese. At the number 7 spot, we have yet another co-MVP, and this one is not my decision. They actually gave Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling the co-MVP back in the 2001 World Series because these guys combined to allow 6 runs over 38.2 innings, and they had 45 strikeouts to 5 walks. In the final game of the series, Randy Johnson mowed down Chuck Knobloch, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Jorge Posada all in order, as these guys, they were unhittable the entire series, and they went up against the mighty Yankees, so that makes these feats even more impressive. The 2013 World Series was dominated by one man and one man alone. David Ortiz had a .688 batting average. Just to put that into perspective, not a single Red Sox player had an OPS above 600, so the fact that his batting average, oh man, I can't really even fathom that. Hold on, let me get back on track. David Ortiz had 11 base hits and 16 at-bats to go along with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He was also walked 4 times, so he was an on-base machine. Now again, his .688 batting average was higher than the OPS of any other Red Sox player. I don't get that. Back in the 2017 World Series, the LA Dodgers faced off against the Houston Astros, and George Springer exploded for 5 home runs and 7 RBIs in an epic 7-game series against those Dodgers. And I wish that we would have had a Dodgers versus Astros rematch, but of course it's not going to happen as the Nationals, they're playing out of their mind in 2019. But how can you forget? In game number 7, George Springer ties the ball game up, and man, he was incredible.
High fly ball, goodbye. One pitch to Springer, and we're tied again.
Only one man on this list can have the nickname of Mr. October because in 1977, Reggie Jackson cemented himself as one of the most clutch World Series performers in baseball history. He had 10 runs to go along with 5 home runs and 8 RBIs, and had an insane 1792 OPS. Now, one thing I do want to note is that 3 of those 5 home runs came on 3 consecutive pitches. Imagine being that good at baseball that you know going into an at-bat that you can hit a home run on the first pitch every single time. I wish I was as good as making videos as Reggie Jackson was at playing baseball in the month of October, because if that was the case, I would be at 100 million subs right now. Reggie Jackson in October doesn't even compute. Now we are getting to the top 3 picks in my opinion, and I do have to say that you can pretty much interchange all of these next players. But in regards to the number 3 pick, I'm gonna go ahead and choose Sandy Koufax from the 1965 World Series. He had a 2-1 record because he had a slightly rough start in game number 2, in which he walked a few runners and actually lost that ball game. But in game number 1 and in game number 3, oh my gosh, this guy was special. He combined to have 1 earned run in 24 innings pitched and had 29 strikeouts, so he was lethal by striking people out. He was not allowing a lot of base runners to get on, aside from game number 2. So in fact, with that 1 earned run in 24 innings, you would think that that would give him the number 1 spot. But number 2 and number 1, these guys were untouchable as well. As I'm looking at the stats right now, I'm almost trying to convince myself that Bob Gibson in 1967 should be number 1 on this list, because he was 3-0 in 3 starts. He had 27 innings pitched, so if you do the math, 3 starts, there's 9 innings in a baseball game. He threw 3 consecutive complete games, and he had 3 earned run total, and he also hit a home run. He was literally the best player on the field by far.
With 1 away in the 5th, Gibson hammers a long drive to center. The ball lands on a ledge just to the right of the flagpole. It's a home run. Homers aren't unique for Bob, but this is his first in the World Series.
Now you might be asking yourself, how can anyone overcome what Bob Gibson did in 1967? And I'll be honest, I might be biased because I watched this game live, so I saw just how dominant Madison Bumgarner was in the 2014 World Series. This guy was the NLCS MVP, and just a few weeks later in the World Series, Madison Bumgarner only allowed 1 earned run in 21 innings pitched, and his Game 7 relief appearance is baseball legend. This game will be talked about for the rest of forever, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that right now. One of the greatest moments in baseball history.
Popped up in foul territory. Giants win! A World Series win for the San Francisco Giants.
And Madison Bumgarner has firmly etched his name on the all-time World Series record books.
So Madison Bumgarner is my number 1 pick in today's video. Now I want you guys to let me know, did I get that right? Did I get that wrong? Should I have interchanged any of these guys? Let me know in the comment section down below what should have been different about this video. Now we're going to go ahead and end today's video with a few honorable mentions. Jack Morris in 1991, Hideki Matsui in 2009, Don Larson in 1956 because he threw a perfect game, Christy Mathewson in 1905, and then last but not least, Oral Hershiser in 1988. So I'm going to go ahead and roll those right now. Make sure you guys are watching because I'm going to put their stats on the screen. Thank you all so much for stopping by. I'll catch you tomorrow for yet another MLB video. See you there. Peace out.
He gets his 8th strikeout.
To have maintained the velocity on his fastball through 9 2/3 innings.
There's a shot into right. Back at the wall, 2-1 New York.
Got him! The greatest game ever pitched in baseball history by Don Larson. A no-hitter, a perfect game in a World Series. Never in the history of the game has it ever happened in a World Series.
To Ron Hassey. Breaking ball got him looking. 8 strikeouts for Oral Hershiser. 5-2 Dodgers in the 9th. Got him. They've done it like the 1969